Los Angeles police arrested 15 gang members after a deadly rampage through the neighborhood called Watts last night. A woman was stabbed to death. Her husband was seriously injured by robbers on bicycles who carried out a series of attacks during a 10-minute spree. The mayhem comes a quarter of a century after Watts erupted in violent protest that captured international attention. Today, things seem to be worse. That is tonight's Focus Report from Jerry Bowen.
This is where black rage in urban America first exploded, a 3-square-mile area of mean, desperate streets and a few manicured lawns in the seamless sprawl of Los Angeles, a ghetto called Watts.
10 years old, I remember, Watts in an uproar. People were looting. People were running frantically throughout the streets.
I seen windows broke out, seen smoke everywhere.
They was burning the store right in front of my house.
I didn't want them shooting at me, so I stayed at home.
And now there's another building on fire on the north side of the street.
The riot started with the arrest of a black man for drunk driving and quickly spread from Watts throughout South Los Angeles. Before it ended 7 days later, 13,000 National Guardsmen had to be called in to restore order. 34 people were shot and killed, most by the authorities. 1,000 injured, 800 buildings destroyed or damaged at a cost of $40 million.
First one drops her hand, dead man.
It was a frightening time for America, but even more frightening and frustrating for residents 25 years later is how little has changed. Despite 2 new shopping centers, a new hospital, health center, and hundreds of new housing units, the new Watts that emerged from the ashes, most residents still live in fear and despair.
Can't get no worse. I don't believe.
Did the riot make any difference? Did life get better here?
No, didn't get no better.
Today, it's worse off than it was in 1965. People can't sleep at night because of either random shootings, gang violence, narcotic sales, prostitution. Indolent and insolent men and women walking the streets aimlessly with no hope in sight.
What did I do to me? Why you shoot me?
In 25 years, assaults have doubled, murders tripled. Drug arrests soared from a handful to 900 a year. Gangs rule many neighborhoods and the cocaine trade.
The price of life is a lot cheaper now here than it was 25 years ago.
By night, police squads and helicopters help keep peace in the housing projects, urban reservations where 1/3 of Watts' 60,000 residents live.
2 into 14. 2 down what is 14? All right, Mama.
By day, community workers battle the odds. The majority of young people don't finish high school. At least 1 in 4 males has run-ins with police. By some estimates, the jobless rate is 40%. Without the social programs, the numbers would be even higher.
We know when we're going to lose them and when we're not going to lose them. We can just about tell you who will make it and who won't make it.
One of the bitter ironies for blacks trying to make it is that the neighborhood may rebound even if they don't. Speculators are buying up cheap property and selling mostly to Hispanics, now 40% of the population, expected to be the majority in Watts sometime this decade. And a new light rail system, along with a freeway project, has made Watts very attractive to outside developers. Reviving a Vietnam philosophy, the developers would raise part of Watts to save it. Residents are outraged.
We have all kind of Japanese in the neighborhood taking pictures of all our houses.
We damn sure don't intend for you to give it to the foreigners and the Japs and the Mexicans in the name of redevelopment.
Right.
We're not going to stand for it.
That's right.
Now, we done had one riot and one fire. We're going to burn the goddamn city down.
Could Watts explode again? Some observers say it's never stopped.
I think that the rebellion today occurs on a daily basis, and it takes the form of black-on-black crime. Large numbers of people isolated in poverty, sort of taking their frustrations out on one another.
Too many people self-destructing in drugs and drive-by shootings. Smoldering unrest that began a quarter century ago and now erupts nearly every night in the neighborhood. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Watts.
And that's the news. I'm Bob Schieffer, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather.